welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is September 12th, 2018, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the economic events today, starting out at 2:30 South African time, monthly PPI numbers coming out of the United States, and then at 4:30 South African time, weekly oil inventories numbers coming out. There are just a few points to be aware of as the week progresses. Just tomorrow, just be aware that the United Kingdom is having an official bank rate coming out, so that's an important event. Just be aware of that. And then Apple Computers is still having momentum on the upside. In the past 5 weeks, it saw much more volume than is regularly traded. So just be aware of that as well. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And lastly, Hurricane Florence. Okay, now we are in the hurricane season in the Gulf of Mexico Peninsula. Call it Florida Keys, call it the Florida, the lower eastern coast of the United States. And that is really, it affects the distribution of oil because oil is really refined in Texas, most of the oil in the United States. So if there's any sort of issues in terms of vessels coming into Texas, any in that area, and usually this time of the year is hurricane season, so it disrupts the value and the distribution of oil, okay, and therefore causing havoc to the prices. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, so just be aware of that. But let's see what's been happening in the markets at large until then. So we're jumping into the Euro USD, and as you can see, we've been trading between really the 1621 and 1580-ish level. Now, we dipped below it previous week, okay, but altogether it's in a tight range, okay, nothing to really write home about. The one thing that you should be aware of is the Aussie USD making new lows for the year. Now I'm looking at a weekly chart. I'm jumping to that just right away. As you can see, we're at 71001 and we're just falling out of bed. Okay, we're really at somewhat of a support level here. If we do continue to break it, we could see it further decline. Now it doesn't even get the bounce, okay, for us to actually short it. So you almost have to, chase it down as it progressively gets weaker and weaker further down. So this is a little bit, disconcerting as the markets are changing and causing the dollar a little bit higher, okay, but it's not forcing it across the board. Usually the Aussie was the one to take us first, and really this is just, trading by itself right now as the GBP kind of like solidified versus the dollar, not breaking out lower, okay, in anticipation maybe to the official bank rate tomorrow. Maybe we, are hitting these higher levels to sell off later tomorrow. So that's something to keep an open eye about as that continues to trade. Now USD Swiss franc also just bouncing here. Finally, from 97.45, we dipped below the 98-ish level. So this has really been a about face for the Swiss franc, okay, because we've been trading mostly within a range between the 99-ish level and 98-ish level, and then we finally broke out of that, and now challenging this bounce, but still very choppy in the Swiss franc. Now, if we jump to the dollar versus the yen, as you could see, we keep on hitting this, 111-ish level, 111.60-ish level, and just breaking down. That's your higher end of the range at 111.50-ish level right now. That could actually be a decent short, in anticipation that it's going to correct itself down to the 110. I don't see that we're going to, either break out on the upside or break down on the downside, but I think that we'll continue trading within this range as we continue. Now, jumping into oil, you see this massive, jump from $67, just at that support level, up to $70 a barrel. Okay, now that's mostly because of Hurricane Florence. Now, looking at it right now, depending how this hurricane actually, develops, if you will, okay, it may just recede the price back to the $67 range. So just be aware that this is really just happening because of the Hurricane Florence. So that's something to keep an eye out in the news, just to be aware of it as that continues to trade. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones, we're playing this tug of war, okay? And as we get closer on the 26th of September, we're going to have a FOMC meeting and a rate decision. So that's really something to keep an eye out, okay, as that actually develops. 26,000 right now. It's trading at about 600 points off of its highs. In anticipation, they're going to higher the interest rates, okay? That might have an adverse reaction to the markets might correct itself then. So it just might want to, take it on the upside as far as it can, until that time of when the news comes out. Now, jumping into Apple computers, we bounced nicely from 216, after making a correctional move from 229 down to the 215-ish level. Okay, we're trading at 223, so only about $6 off of our all-time highs. Let's see if this continues to push further higher, okay, as the market continues to trade. Now, Amazon also had a nice reactionary move on the upside, as you can see that on a 1-hour chart, back almost to its highs of 2046-ish level. It's all relative. We're trading at 1996 right now. So, ultimately, it has room to go up. Now, it's following the NASDAQ, which is, bouncing, but not bouncing as high. Okay, so if Apple can actually swing us on the upside, that's something to, keep an eye out as that continues to trade. So, a few things happening in the markets, still, Facebook and Tesla are still very weak. Just be aware of that. But Apple seems to, be very, very resilient, at least right before the number. Okay, let's see actually how that fruites once those, the launch of the product actually comes out, and you have the reaction to it, so on and so forth. So that's something to keep an eye out as that continues to trade. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.